I didn't put myself. I messed up. I tried to do it all smooth. We can't do anything smooth around here. We should know better than that. What am I thinking? Transitions and all that. Still hiring for a producer. If anyone knows anyone that wants to work for free. Hey, matter of fact, anyone knows anyone wants to pay me to work, that'd be even better. This is hip. Intro is hip. I think I done messed up. My afternoon nap. Oh, my afternoon nap turned into 4 hours of sleep. That sounds amazing. That sounds so awesome. I want that.
But yes, that would mess me up for going to sleep at night. Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday.
Yeah, that's tomorrow. It means tomorrow's Friday, babe. You know that. You know Thursday comes before Friday.
Did you mute yourself, dude?
No.
Can you guys hear us? Or was you must have muted yourself.
I'm on.
Somebody comment. Can you hear us?
I'm on right now, man.
Hello.
Everything says
Barbara
it's
can hear
on.
me. Happy Thursday, Faith.
Remember how they used to
Always
get
muted?
me, babe?
They didn't get you. You got you.
No, I mean like when trolls would come in.
Oh.
I'm like, you're muted, and I'd stop everything and be like, what? Am I muted, guys? What's going on? They just throw a monkey wrench right into the whole otherwise smoothly operating show.
In the beginning, we fell for a lot of things we weren't aware of.
Yes, that's the truth. But we are now old, I guess.
I would say seasoned.
Seasoned? That sounds nice.
Seasoned
I like that.
Veteran?
Seasoned sounds good. That sounds like something you might get at a fine restaurant.
Yes.
These people are crazy.
So, hey, babe. Elections have consequences, but before we get into that, happy Thursday. Lots going on. I'm for those who don't know, my name is Mags. I'm picking cat hair off my microphone. My name is Mags, and we apparently, whatever. My name's Mags, and this is Faith over here. Say hi, Faith.
Hi, Faith.
That's it. That's it. No more. You said too much. You're only allowed to say 7 words.
You said say hi, Faith. I said hi, Faith. So, hey.
Now you said it 3 times.
Hi, Faith. Hi, Faith. Hi.
Virginia.
Hi. Okay, go.
Virginia. Can I go? Yeah.
Yep.
Virginia. So they elected this horrible new governor, Spam Burger. And I went over that previous videos about how all the stuff that they're passing and unconstitutional gun laws and all kinds of stuff. And I just saw on the news today that Virginian voters, your votes don't count anymore. They don't count anymore. You know that? They don't count at all. Your votes don't mean anything anymore. It doesn't matter if you vote or not. Presidents are not going to come to rural Virginia anymore to try to campaign. No one's going to care about Virginia anymore. Let me tell you why. So Democrats are trying to? I thought they got it through. I'll have to double check that. To change the Constitution without touching it. Yeah, she signed it. Yeah, it went through. The Virginia governor just signed a bill that cancels out your vote if you're in Virginia.
What?
It's not unconstitutional either. It's crazy.
How so? How can I do that?
I'm going to tell you.
Shut up.
I'm going to pay for that. So Virginia signed a bill that cancels out the vote. It's called HB, House Bill 965, and it joins Virginia to the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. That's a long one. National Popular Vote Interstate Compact. So if Virginia votes one way for president and the country votes a different way, the Virginia electoral votes go with the country, not with the state. So if Virginia voted for Kamala Harris and the state or the popular vote went to Trump, then Virginia's electoral votes go to Trump, even though Virginia voted for Kamala Harris. Doesn't seem right. Ironically, they're selling it as, you know what it's called, babe? What the narrative is, what they're selling it as. I've seen it all over X.
TDS something or other. I don't know.
They say they're basically using the same narrative they're using for something they're doing in Congress now. It's called the every vote matters equally. Every vote matters equally. That
Well, if
sounds
every-
amazing.
I was gonna say, if every vote matters equally, then why are they changing their vote?
Well, their votes don't matter equally. They use that and then they do the opposite. So the problem is that that's essentially just a lie. Like most of the policies that come out of the progressive left, they have to use lies to sell them to people that are usually exactly the opposite of whatever it is. The stuff works because people are ignorant. They don't know their rights. They don't know. And because no one understands the Electoral College, the every vote counts equally narrative works on them. It does not eliminate the Electoral College, this HB 965. It doesn't eliminate the Electoral College outright. They couldn't do that. But it effectively bypasses state by state results for compacting states. They call that the compacting states, are all the states that have signed on to this crazy thing that basically steals your votes. Like, this should have people angry, really angry. They sell it by claiming the Electoral College is broken. And it was only for colonial times. That's what I hear. I've heard that a bunch of places. But the Electoral College isn't broken. It was designed specifically to make sure that the rural states, small states, communities outside of major cities still had a voice in who becomes president. They wouldn't be drowned out. Under this compact, presidential campaigns would have zero reason to care about Virginia outside of Richmond and like Northern Virginia near DC there. Compact clause, Article 1, Section 10. This is against it being constitutional. An argument against it being constitutional would be the compact clause, Article 1, Section 10. Quote, no state shall, without the consent of Congress, enter into any agreement or compact with another state. This is an interstate agreement that only activates with reciprocal action from other states. So they get around that because of the reciprocal action. People think it requires congressional approval because it increases political power of compacting states at the expense of non-compacting ones. So all these states get together, kind of like they're unionizing almost, right? Kind of like they get together and they go, you know what? We're all going to vote this way. Let's do it together. That hurts voters in other states. The framers explicitly rejected direct popular election of the president. No state has historically appointed electors based on out-of-state votes. The biggest thing to me is it could diminish the non-compacting states' influence and create, really a big old mess because it's not supposed to be based on the popular vote anyway. Supreme Court precedent on compacts would be U.S. Steel Corp versus Multi-State Tax Commission, Virginia versus Tennessee. I know this is riveting. Requires consent for agreements that encroach on federal supremacy or significantly alter state power balances, but the court has never directly ruled on something like the NPVIC. It literally steals votes from Virginians. This steals your votes. How can this stand in America? We have tyrants all through our government, and it's going to take the American people to stand up and sort this out. Essentially, we need revolution. Oh, he's calling for revolution. Take his guns away. Revolution nowadays isn't going to look like revolution back then, but we certainly need a revolution, because we can't sit back and expect Trump or whoever else to fix it. We need to pull corrupt politicians from their lofty perches and drag them through the streets to their small, cold cells for what they've done to the American people. The corruption, the tyranny. So after this action, like, why would presidential campaigns waste their time in Virginia? If Virginia just hands its people's votes to wherever New York and California vote for. The framers of the Constitution explicitly rejected the idea of popular elections for president. They designed it so that the changing the system required a constitutional amendment, not state level workarounds. The progressives frame it as every vote counts. Every vote is important. And that way, if you argue against it, you're saying every vote's not important. But that's just false. That's not even the argument. It's just the way they use it to get stupid people who are ignorant of the facts to go, yeah, every vote counts. Hand me a sign. They say every vote counts, but they're really doing the opposite. They always do this where they name bills the opposite of what they're actually going to do so that people won't question them. But meanwhile, they're literally stealing votes at the same time they claim that all votes matter. If you can't see the hypocrisy there, how can anyone defend that? How can anybody defend that? Show me the grassroots organizations that were out there in Virginia pushing for that to be made into law. I looked into it. I saw that as of March, the end of March 26, every single governor who had signed the compact into law has been a Democrat, not a Republican. So they keep claiming that it's bipartisan reform, but it's not that at all. It's simply a party using a legislative shortcut to restructure how presidents get elected without touching the Constitution. We're a republic, not a pure democracy. That matters because, see, in a democracy, they let 51% of the people of the country can pretty much ignore 49%. Virginia just took a step toward erasing its own voice in national elections. And they did it while nobody was watching. Shh. That got me thinking. All this tyranny and corruption and all this stuff that's been going on in government for as long as I can remember. What would the founders say? Well, I talked to him the other day. I said I talked to him the other day, and I'm going to explain it. I'm going to stand up here and get myself a refill of coffee. So Faith's going to take over. Since she's over there giggling, she must have a lot to say.
I mean, that you talked to the founders is pretty.
Yeah, man, we're tight, bro. I got all their autographs right there. See that? They autographed that for me.
Well, he put me on the spot. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say, so here I am. It's like April, and it's like 80 out here right now. So our office is not prepared for online indoor activity. Just give me a second. MAGA is dying. It doesn't matter. I don't think MAGA is dying. I think there are some people that are okay. So I have a couple, but one specifically friend on Facebook that I'm thinking of that was diehard MAGA, diehard Trump. Wah! And she seems to have just fallen into all the narrative. And point being, she's getting lost in the chaos versus, I don't know. I personally don't get lost in all the headlines and all the this and that and the other. And there's some things that happen that I don't like, but there's some things that happen everywhere that I don't like in both parties. So I'm not lost in it. In other words, I'm not like, oh my gosh, she posted this. Oh my gosh, she said this. I like the Trumps on social media, but I also don't. I feel like he shows his unprofessionalism on social media. So I'm not a big fan of because I feel like the president holds a I don't want to say a higher power, but I guess a higher power. But the president holds a statesman. Yes, exactly. He's supposed to be, a suit and tie and and some of the stuff that he posts, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I don't think it's him posting it either. So I keep that in mind when I see stuff. I'm just like, okay, whoever's doing his social media, I don't think is the best for it, to be honest. But I don't know if MAGA, I don't think MAGA's personally, I don't think MAGA is dead. So many people are leaving it for obvious reason. I don't know if I'd say obvious reasons. I think they're leaving it because they have the blinders on and they are looking at the headlines of Candace Owens and Tucker instead of making their own decisions. They're following the pack. So whichever pack they were in initially when MAGA started, they've started following that pack, and that pack has that some of these are going this way and some of them are going this way. But I personally don't think that MAGA is going to die, because I think that MAGA in general, again, this is my opinion, but I think that MAGA is us, we the people that want to make America great. Whether you're conservative or not, I think you can still be MAGA. But because the media and whatnot after J6, basically, after they made MAGA was just American flag carrying people, it's like lefties are afraid to say that they're MAGA because they don't want to make America great again, because they think it's a Trump term. I personally think it's everybody term. I think anybody can fall under that umbrella. If you want to make our country great, you may have a different way of making it great, but I think we're all under the same umbrella that we want something greater. But I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I muted myself.
Oh, sorry.
What?
Look, you lost people.
I
I was
was
talking. Yammer,
I
yammer,
was gonna
yammer.
say, I just saw it the first time. First time, guys, I'm gonna pull out the voice. We're gonna
We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna get what the founders said. But listen, every MAGA supporter will have to account for their sins, because history will remember who you are, and justice will be served.
That's very dramatic. I know it wasn't as dramatic.
They're
with
going to remember who I am?
Force.
Little old me? What?
You're gonna have to account for your sins, babe. For your MAGA sins. Faith, what do you think of Trump supporting FISA? Did you do your research? Did you
did
stop
not.
what you were doing to figure out that?
I
To
did
have
not.
an answer for his question?
No, I did not.
FISA.
I'm not a fan of going against the Constitution.
Right.
So I'll give you that much.
The Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act of 1978. Yeah, I don't like it. It seems to be generally considered constitutional by courts that have reviewed it. But significant parts, especially Section 702, offer backdoor searches, remain heavily contested on Fourth Amendment grounds. It was passed after Watergate. It allows unreasonable searches and backdoor investigations. It's been abused over and over and over and over again. I don't support it, and I don't know what Trump thinks. So I don't know why he would support it. I don't want to speculate. He knows a lot more than I do right now. So whatever, I'm not going to speculate on why someone else. I'll let them speak for that. But it is what it is. What would the founders say? I was in the middle of finding videos and stuff, and that question dawned on me. So I stopped doing what I was doing there, and I started to write a little bit about that very question right there. So this will probably turn into a Substack article, but you get the preview right now. What would the founding fathers tell Americans today who are suffering from corrupt and tyrannical governments all across America? It's not just the federal government, it's local governments and state governments. I imagine most of these politicians that have been in the business for a long time, they reach down into the lower echelons of politics, like the state politics and the local politics races, and they help to get people that they like elected so that then they'll have someone there to step in whenever their time is over. But I digress. What a stupid question to ask the founders. That's a stupid question. Why would you ask them what they would tell us today? They already answered that question. The founding fathers would tell Americans to treat government tyranny and corruption exactly like they did in 1776. They would tell us to first exhaust every peaceful constitutional remedy while staying vigilant and virtuous. But we've done that, and we've stayed vigilant and virtuous for the most part. And that doesn't seem to have helped anything. Not really. You know, we got Trump in there, but we can't sit back and just expect him to fix everything. It's gotten us nowhere. Corrupt politicians help others to get elected. Like I just said, they do that so that they can have those seats filled by their people. Their machine can be running things. And don't think that there's different sides of the machine. It's just one big machine. It is never going to end until the people step up and end it. That considered, the founders would tell us that if and only if a long train of abuses proves a deliberate design to impose absolute despotism, then we are to exercise the right and duty to alter or abolish it. Duty. Say that enough times, it starts to sound silly. So I won't do that again. Kind of takes away from the power of the moment. But that's not speculation. I'm not guessing. It's written directly in the Declaration of Independence and reinforced in their other writings, the Constitution, the Federalist Papers, and even in their private letters to each other. Consent of the governed and the right to withdraw it. The Declaration states that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. It is the right and the duty and to institute new government. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. I noticed in that document there, it didn't say vote harder. It didn't say to trust the system forever. It said that the people are the sovereign and the government is their servant, not the other way around, which is where so many people believe that we are. When the servant turns into a tyrant, the people have both the right and duty to replace it. They said that, but they also added prudence. Prudence indeed will dictate, this is from the Declaration, prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. What's that mean? They were saying not to change governments for, quote, light and transient causes. So don't just be like, oh, I don't like this one thing. We're going to uproot the government and change everything. Because in following that, it talks about the suffering. To suffer while evils are sufferable. Only when the pattern is clear and unrelenting do you act. Well, to me, it seems pretty clear. And for decades and decades, it's been unrelenting. The founders did the best that they could do. They couldn't foresee all this corruption and government agencies they would add to the government so they could have unelected bureaucrats running things and essentially making their own laws and regulations and such. The founders weren't naive. A lot of people think that they were. They weren't naive, and they had just defeated a tyrant. They knew that the power corrupts people. And they designed the Constitution with multiple layers to stop tyranny before it ever required revolution. Elections and rotation in office was supposed to help. Jefferson once warned that once office becomes a career, a rottenness begins in his conduct. They told us. I don't know why they didn't. That's the one thing I would love to go back and ask them is why they didn't put in term limits for Congress. Checks and balances, separation of powers, Bill of Rights, impeachment, all kinds of stuff. Ways to change it if we needed to. Thomas Jefferson, who I just love, said, the time to guard against corruption and tyranny is before they shall have gotten hold of us. It is better to keep the wolf out of the fold than to trust to drawing his teeth and talons after he shall have entered. He also said a republic once corrupted can only be fixed by removing the corruption and restoring its lost principles, not by half measures or new laws layered on top. Where'd that fighting spirit of Americans go? Where did it go? Thomas Jefferson believed that a little rebellion now and then was a good thing. It refreshes liberty and keeps rulers honest. The people should be standing up. I don't understand. I really just don't understand. It's the dumbing down of America. There's these morons pushing this 25th Amendment thing, and these other people pushing this whole, I forget the name of it, the voting thing, compact, whatever they called it. They're stealing our country from us right in front of us. They're stealing it. They're corrupting it. They're changing elections. They're doing all kinds of things. I had a bunch of quotes that I thought were interesting. Samuel Adams said that tyrants love an ignorant and vicious populace. An educated, moral people will resist oppression. An educated, moral people. Wow. You can't say moral now. I remember when we were down in DC, that word, man, that word morals, we want to bring a morals back. That's a trigger word for the left. They cannot stand that word, morals, because that means you have to hold yourself to a higher standard. That means you need to be held accountable for your immoral actions. And they can't have that. So what do I think they would have us do? I think they would have us educate ourselves on the Constitution, the Declaration, and just history in general. Don't forget that ignorance is a tyrant's best friend. They're boys. They're tight. I would imagine they would say to vote, run for office, and organize locally. Fire the corrupt at every level, federal, state, and local. States matter. They're not powerless. They're supposed to have the power. That's part of the thing we were protesting in DC before was states' rights. You ever look at your income tax? Why does the federal government get the biggest chunk by far? It should be the states that get that. How much money does the federal government get and then divvy up to the states, but use that money to make the states bend to the federal government's will? If you don't do that, we're not going to give you this money. Damn it, that's the state's money. It shouldn't be in the federal government's hands in the first place. Make noise. Speak, write, assemble, petition, protest, whatever. Use the First Amendment aggressively to expose the corruption. A free press used to be the watchdog, but now we are the press. So we have to be the watchdog. We have to be able to educate people about what's going on in government. These things that you see they do, we don't know they're doing it. We don't see it reported on the news or anything. This National Popular Vote Compact, what in the hell? How are people allowing their vote to be just stripped away from them? Where have we sunk to that we don't even know the value of being an American anymore? We need to demand the restoration of America First principles, term limits, balanced budgets, honest money, nullification of unconstitutional acts from previous administrations, a convention of states if Congress won't act. Because guess what? They don't care about you. We've had the Congress now for almost 2 years. What have they accomplished? Nothing. Almost nothing. People don't pay attention to that either. It's like, how can you still be like, yeah, Republicans, when Republicans don't do anything? If you can't see it's the same party for the most part with minor differences, I imagine the founders would tell us to stay armed and ready. They knew that an armed populace was the final check. That's the only reason the government hasn't taken way more power over us and way more control than they already have. If all else fails and the pattern of despotism is undeniable, alter or abolish. Peacefully, if possible. By force, if necessary. They did it once. They expected future generations might have to do it again. They wrote about that. I just quoted Thomas Jefferson a little bit ago. They knew that. The tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants. It is its natural manure. You have to fight for it, or it will be slowly stripped away from us. Hey, look, it's being slowly stripped away from us. That's crazy. They didn't want like endless complaining. They didn't want us to have just blind trust in the system or waiting for someone else to fix it. They didn't want us to wait for someone else to fix it. They wanted us active. They wanted us informed. And they certainly wanted us to be courageous. We have to guard our liberty. They aren't taught that anymore. So we give it away because we don't know the value of it. There's a reason that everyone in the world pretty much wants to come to America. 80% of the world, I guarantee, if you say, hey, come on, we got a place for you, I bet they'd come. Jefferson put it bluntly, the people themselves are the only reliable force to, quote, keep the government pure and the governors honest. The founders gave us the tools and the permission slip. What we do with them is up to us. If we want to keep the republic, it's probably about time we use some of those tools that we were given. He's calling for revolution. He's calling for violence. I'm gonna peek over here at the chat. What's going on? I got a couple starred comments. What about no corporate PAC money in politics? Yeah, I agree. I think we should get rid of all that stuff. I would love to run for office myself. I think it should be people like us that do run for office and do that stuff. But how can we if we have other people? There should be a system. I mean, you'd have to really work it out, but there could be a system where you have to qualify certain ways to be a candidate or whatever, but there's got to be some kind of government money. Like each candidate for this position gets this much money, and then guess what? We get to see how effective these people are at managing money. Wouldn't that be interesting? Wouldn't that be a nice contrast to be able to look at two contenders for a position, whatever it is, and go, wow, they each had $40,000 to spend on their campaign. This guy spent $40,000 in the first week, and this guy used his money more wisely, yada, yada, yada. That's got to would play into the elections as well, I would think. I'm not sure what this truth is treason in an empire of lies. Eloquent. Yes, government. Let me see what we got here. Just checking over the. Where are we at? Okay. I feel so conflicted with FISA. On one hand, it really helps with preventing terrorism and espionage. On the other hand, it can be infringed on privacy. On the other side, it might be too secretive. I agree. It could be a great tool if they use it the way it was supposed to be used, but it's been corrupted so many times over and over and over and over and over again, including against President Trump, who now supports it, which is, hey, whatever. They use that fear of terrorism so that you accept it. That's not wrong either. That's not wrong either. To educate a man in mind and not in morals is to educate a menace to society. Teddy Roosevelt. Excellent. Excellent. That's excellent. We could prevent more terrorism if we stop the FBI from entrapping people. Yeah, Democrats recently converted to Catholicism en masse via CNN. Know that they got to get used to the politically the Pope as talking point, says leader of morality. Yeah, I'm not even big on. Oh, uh-oh.
Bro! Bro. Bro.
We love you all.
I got rid of the
Love
bro
you.
button. Sorry. Bro, you can't even read, and you're talking IQ? I don't remember talking about IQs. Every time I watch your stream, you stumble over ordinary, day-to-day words. And your talking points are always straight out of Newsmax. Go get your GED. Well,
I'll have you know. I already did that. And I don't watch Newsmax. So if my talking points come straight from Newsmax, maybe they're watching me. Okay? You ever thought of that? Maybe they're watching me. It could be true. Yeah. Looking over here at a couple. We're going to go back to. I wanted to talk about Swalwell a little bit because I don't think people are paying enough attention to the real story there. The real story with Swalwell. It's not the same old thing that, oh, look, another politician got caught doing some nasty stuff. How weird. It's unusual, yada, yada. It's not. It's the same old crap every damn time, and no one ever pays any attention to it, and no one seems to care. And that's where we're at. I'm looking for... Swalwell was one of the biggest people out there trying to convict Trump over the years. Here's a good example right here. It's all over. All over. Where we at? Oh.
Michael Wolff, who has spent a lot of time with Donald Trump and a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein, has reported that the two were very close. And Donald Trump has acknowledged that he and Jeffrey Epstein were very close. He's called him a good guy. Wolff has reporting that at one point, Trump had topless underage girls sitting on his lap. If you're Donald Trump, you deserve, if that is not true, to be cleared. That allegation should be cleared. And so if his supporters are not upset that, about the allegation, they may be upset that he is unwilling to clear his own name. So
you make an accusation and then you say, if he doesn't want to come out and validate your ridiculous allegation, then of course he doesn't want to clear his own name. That's what it is. Michael Wolff wrote a book on the Trump administration. There we go. Fire and Fury. And some other Trump books. He's a longtime Trump hater, blah, 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 blah. Repeatedly claimed that around 10 years ago, Jeffrey Epstein pulled photos out of his safe and showed them to him. He described about a dozen Polaroid-style pictures taken at Epstein's Palm Beach house by the pool, specifically remembering 2 photos of topless young women. Blah, blah, blah. Didn't know how young they were. Didn't know their exact ages. Blah, blah, blah. Interestingly enough, no photos have ever surfaced. Wolff's the only source of that, and his credibility is really, really quite poor over the years. So why should that's the allegations can come from everywhere. You can't use that defense as, oh, well, doesn't he want to clear his name? Because yeah, maybe, but you can't just go out there and defend yourself against every little allegation. When we were down there in DC, people were calling me a pedophile. Well, I'm not a pedophile. But I'm not going to go out there and be like, nah, I'm not a pedophile. Don't call me a pedophile. Look, these are the reasons why I'm not a pedophile. Look, let's read these. That's stupid. That's just playing into their own game. Ignore that garbage. Clear his own name. Because I made an accusation, he has to clear his own name. And if he doesn't, that makes him guilty. Don't you understand? That's the games that they play. And it works on people. That's what I don't understand.
Tonight, facing the threat of a pending House Ethics Committee investigation and expulsion, embattled Congressman Eric Swalwell says he will leave office, answering the call from a wide swath of both Republicans and Democrats, urging him to step down following allegations of sexual assault and misconduct. Swalwell continuing to deny many of the allegations, calling them false, but adding, "I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes I did make." The California Democrat also made note of the plans to potentially kick him out of office. Expelling anyone in Congress without due process within days of an allegation being made is wrong, Swalwell said in a statement, but adding he knew it was time for him to go. It's also wrong for constituents to have me distracted from duties. Therefore, I plan to resign my seat in Congress. Swalwell was a leading candidate for governor of California.
The next governor has to be a fighter protector for all Californians.
But suspended his campaign in response to the backlash. His resignation will end the threat of a congressional probe, but he is still facing the possibility of a criminal investigation in New York, where one of the alleged incidents took place. Multiple women have accused Swalwell of sexual misconduct and assault. One woman telling the San Francisco Chronicle that she had several sexual encounters with the congressman while working in his office. She also accused him of sexually assaulting her twice while she was too intoxicated to consent. NBC News has not verified her allegations, but it confirmed her identity and that she worked for Swalwell from 2019 until 2021.
You don't have to verify allegations anymore, do you? I thought you had to just believe women. That's what Swalwell was saying. Just believe women. When all the arrows are pointing in the same direction.
This accuser sharing her story with CNN.
And he said to me, "You're right. It's probably not good for a congressman to be caught with his pants down."
All right, Ryan Nobles joins us.
Probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't think. But it seems to happen so much. I saw a little clip of Boebert going in. She got a couple going into Congress and she was interviewed and she said, "I don't understand why people, they need to go and they need to find Jesus. Why is everybody in this town so horny?" The shoes are dropping. The chickens are coming home to roost. What a scumbag. We've been screaming about it for years. Huh?
How long has Swalwell been in office? And how much past that
10
have these
years.
women come out? I'm not saying that he didn't do anything, whatever, but I'm just like, why are they waiting so long? I don't know. Thank God. I have never been in this situation, but I just wonder why. Like, I saw an interview the other day of somebody, and I'm thinking, why did you wait so long to bring this out?
He got elected in 2013.
And none of this has come out before then. I saw something the other day that said Pelosi knew what was going on, but
Yeah, so she was one of his biggest cheerleaders because he was like a little attack dog for them, and he'd go out there and on the news media and that kind of stuff and say all the outrageous stuff for them. So that he was useful to them then. So as long as you're
Right.
useful, it doesn't matter who you sexually assault or any of that stuff. That's the main story here to me, right? So people ask the same questions, where did all these women come from? And I've asked, why does the Democrat Party only seem to care now? Why was he protected while he was in Congress? It's a huge story, but it should be focused on the Democrat Party as a whole. Who knew? And yada, yada, yada. 50 women? 50 former staffers, allegations of rape, violent rapes, choking people unconscious, allegedly. Allegedly. The whole thing undercuts the Democrats' moral branding on women's issues, integrity, exposing how personal and political power often trumps principles. It does, doesn't it? It does that a lot. It doesn't matter what side you're on. It does it on both sides. Swalwell's fall was super quick. It was only days. But the thing to me is that it exposes the machine first, like, dynamic of the whole thing. He was useful, so they pushed it aside. As soon as he's not useful, as soon as they want him to drop out of the race, because they want him to drop out of the California governor's race, because the way that California is set up, it's kind of weird. It's just the two top vote getters go into the final election, go head to head. So you get two people in the final election running for governor. It doesn't matter what party they're from. So it could be two Democrats, could be two Republicans, it could be whatever. Usually it's two Democrats. And that worked that way for a long time in California. But now they're backs against the wall because they had two Republicans with, I think it was 11% each. So they were, and then the next person, Swalwell, had 14. No, he had 11. They had 14. That's what it was. Long story short, they wanted him to drop out so that the other Democrat could consolidate all the Democrat votes, squeak in there above one of those Republicans, and then the final race would be a Republican versus a Democrat. And in California, that's pretty much we pretty much know how that's going to go in California, although California seems to be waking up a good bit. So that whole thing, that machine dynamic, brings me back to a point that I said on my last show, and one that I see others have started to pick up as well. So good. It's time we looked around and beyond the magician's hands. The real story isn't with Eric Swalwell, the man himself. Guilty or innocent, these latest accusations, he's still a sleazeball. He's always been a sleazeball. Plenty of other reasons for calling him that. But that's not what matters here. Normal people are focusing on the accusations and hate on him for that. Rightfully so. But the story isn't about another slimy politician whose ego and sex drive got him into trouble. What matters here is the timing. This story is a story that the right could use to expose the Democrats in Congress for the nation to see. For years, rumors and whispers about Swalwell's behavior with women on his staff were an open secret in Democrat circles. It was an open secret in Democrat circles. Nobody cared. He was a rising star, a cable news regular, and Pelosi's golden boy. They treated him like family because he was useful, loyal, and able to win elections in California. He was the clear frontrunner for the Democrats in the California governor race. And then, in a span of just a few days in April, everything flipped. Suddenly, more than 55 former staffers signed an open letter calling for his resignation. All of a sudden, they all got together. Current staffers issued horrified statements. Endorsements vanished overnight. The same Democratic machine that protected him for over a decade turned on him with ruthless efficiency. I mean, it's amazing. Just sit back and think about it. The right has been screaming about this guy and how he had an affair with a Chinese spy named Fang Fang. Don't bang bang Fang Fang. For a decade, they've been screaming about it with no results. Nothing. Not even a peep. And then in days, the Democrat Party destroyed him. It's amazing. They couldn't have a Democrat splitting the vote. They asked him to drop out. He said no, and this is what happens. The machine they weaponized against Brett Kavanaugh and Donald Trump, he weaponized against Brett Kavanaugh and Donald Trump, is turned on him. The party of women's loudest champions of hashtag believe women and hashtag me too suddenly discovered their principles the moment Swalwell became a liability to their electoral math. For over a decade, they didn't care. The second it threatened their power, they cared a lot. So Swalwell, while it's a horrible story, he's not the main story. The timing. It just exposes the Democrat Party's lack of morals. They're not a party that champions women. That's just something that they sell to people that we're all about the children and women. I want to know who knew and when. That one guy, what's his name? The Arizona senator. I'm going to pull that up real quick. The one that was nervous. Like totally freaking out, nervous. And basically, it was just bad. It was bad look. I'm looking for it now. Give me a sec. I wasn't planning on bringing it up. There. It's just part of it. But people are saying this guy, he looks like he's guilty, looks guilty, and he's acting like this because he's guilty of whatever. I say he's acting like this because he's guilty and he knows that we're going to find out about things that he's guilty of that we don't know about yet.
It was flirty. That was flirty.
And that was when? About what year was it?
I mean, that was through. We've heard that. We've heard that throughout.
Senator, you just said, thank you so much. I want to clarify because in the beginning,
I know we'll go back there.
In the beginning, you said when you first heard these rumors a few weeks ago, that's when you called him. Then you said you've heard these rumors for years. So which one is it, Senator?
So I heard rumors of him being flirty.
And that wasn't an issue enough for you to not trust him to watch your kids or be close with him?
Because, you hear this, and then when you're close to somebody and you know his wife, you see this. You see that relationship. You know that, like, it maybe just isn't true.
Have you asked him about it prior to this few weeks?
I asked him about it a few weeks ago when it started coming up online.
Yes. Why, when you ask him about it, if you're running his campaign, sir?
What were the
It was flirty.
He's just it's creepy. And then there's that one video of him. He's on that bed with that weird, creepy video of Swalwell kissing that sex worker, and there you see a shoe, and I saw a split screen. I probably don't have it, but I saw a split screen of him in an ad wearing the exact same tennis shoe. It's kind of a weird shoe too. So, but that's not proof. That's just interesting, right? Interesting. Pull this up here. There's so much going on. So much stuff that's going on that it's tyrannical. It really is. House Rules and Legislative Administration Committee in Wisconsin, right? Yeah, I think Minnesota lost $9 billion in taxpayer dollars to just 14 Medicaid programs under Tim Walz's administration. Today, every single Democrat in the Rules Committee voted to block an investigation into that fraud.
Chair Long? No. Vice Chair Schultz?
Yes.
Vice Chair Hollins?
No.
Representative Allen?
Yes.
Representative Coulter?
No.
Representative Frederick?
No.
Representative Howard?
No.
Representative Jacob?
Jacob, yes.
Representative Jordan?
No.
Representative Cagle?
No.
Representative Nash?
Yes.
Representative Purcell?
Purcell, no.
Representative Scott? Yes. Representative Steer?
Yes.
And Representative Zalesnikar?
Yes.
That's crazy.
There being 8 ayes and 8 nays, the motion does not prevail. That concludes our agenda for today. The meeting is adjourned.
That's crazy. That's crazy. They commit fraud and then they cover it up for themselves. I mean, it's nothing new. This is not new, but it's just so blatantly out in the open now. You really think you're going to vote your way out of this? No, I don't think that anymore. I think it's going to take more than that. And again, we have the tools. At least one party has morals and standards. We're halfway there. I don't think we do. I don't think you could say that about the Republican Party either. I think if you cleared out, I think what we need to do is purge Congress. And if we did that, if we got rid of every single person in Congress, we would probably only lose like 3 or 4 good people. That's how it is. So it's not gonna hurt. Duh, who resigned? The Republican whose staffer unalived herself still wouldn't quit. He did, actually, I think he resigned. But I mean, I think he only did it because Swalwell was resigning and it wouldn't hurt them politically because now you got a Republican and a Democrat out. He was a representative, wasn't he? I think. 44 women have accused Trump of sexual assault and you couldn't care less. Kind of hypocritical. They were all investigated like out the wazoo. It's not the same thing. I get to playing the that game that a lot of people play. You know, yeah, but what about this? What about what he did? And what about what they did? And I'm not super interested in all that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. You notice I'm not out here saying that we have to believe these women and all that stuff. I still think that it's weird that they all come out now and there's something else going on there. You know, nothing's going to come of it. There'll be investigations. A couple people will get like a settlement, and that'll be the end of it. Swalwell will disappear into whatever the ether somewhere in California, and then he'll run again for office in 10 years or something like that because he's addicted to that attention. If the Trump economy,
If the Trump economy is so good, why are Mags and Jericho still unemployed?
I can't speak for Jericho. I don't really know the ins and outs of his daily life, much like that person doesn't know the in and outs of their daily life. But as far as I'm concerned, I make my own jobs. So yeah, I'm not unemployed. See, I'm not unemployed. I was unemployed, and then I stepped up and created my own company.
I think that no matter who's in office, the economy is hard. Seems to me it doesn't matter who was in office. I remember in 2022 when you guys were in DC. I remember this because you were in DC and I was going to get gas here and it was over $5 a gallon. And I was like, holy crap. And then the other day I went to the grocery store, eggs are down super low, like gas is super high. To me, that's just the same. It's been the same no matter who's president. So I personally I don't know. I explain in the comment section. I hate politics. I really do. I follow along now because I kind of have to since my children came along and I realized, oh, well, what I'm leaving them is what's happening next. But I think it's all drama. I don't know. I'm not saying it's not relative, but it is all a distraction, I guess is what I mean. And I just pay attention and I vote for who I personally support and you vote for who you personally support. In the meantime, I don't think any of them care about us at all. Any of them, not one of them, even Trump. I don't think he cares about us. He doesn't know who I am.
Me? Oh.
Any of us. He doesn't know who any of us are. And I'm not, that's what I mean. I'm not like, ooh, Trump is the greatest.
Yeah, no, it's like this comment here. I can tell you and Mags are not defending Trump like you used to, and that makes me happy. I've never defended Trump, so to speak. It's not my place to defend him. that you always end up in a bad place when you go out to try to do that. I can't defend him. I can say I agree with this, I don't agree with that. There's been things along the way that I disagreed with ever since the 2016 campaign. I've had complaints about him. It's just that maybe you didn't hear it though. I don't know. Maybe you didn't want to listen to him. Maybe you didn't hear that show. I don't know. Long story short, I've always gone down the road of truth. I don't care what side the aisle or wherever the facts land. That's what you have to go with. Facts. So I don't play into this. Oh, Trump's a sexual whatever, and he whatever, and I don't play into that because I need to see some proof. I've always been about receipts. If you can't bring me any receipts, then I'm not going to believe you. I've had people try to set me up and try to get me to put out information about stuff and claiming that they had receipts, and then I wouldn't do it until I saw the receipts, because it's important. It's important that you don't go out there and just lie. If I'm telling you something, usually it's because I've researched it or looked into it. I don't speak on stuff I don't really know anything about, because that's dumb. Then you look dumb. I look dumb enough. I don't have to make myself look any dumber. Okay, you make excuses for him. I don't make excuses for anybody, man. Stop it. Stop that. Stop that. You'll know. After you've been here a while, you'll figure it out.
That's I'm sorry, I'm going to go back to Hail Slayer back here. Construction company owner here, 10 times the work. So I started paying more attention to politics in 20. See, my son was born in nope.
Easy.
When my son was born, I started to pay more attention because I realized, oh, well, I mean, this affects my kids in school, whatever, my local politics. I started to pay more attention and what my children were going to be influenced by. I still support Trump and the policies that he's done. I'm not 100% Trump, but I am 100% Trump over the other two options that we had, or one once it came down to it. I think that he is like gonna save America? No, I think that we, the people, need to save America. I think that social media has been awful for trying to save America. I think social media is the devil. I think that social media has clouded the minds of so many people. And then when it came into COVID and what I personally saw during COVID and how it affected my business and my children in school, that's when I really started to go, whoa, 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 whoa. I got to pay attention a little bit closer than I have been. And even still, I'm not 100%. He is much more 100% than I am. I don't know if I'd say he's 100%, but
100% what?
Politics.
What are we talking
about? Wait, what?
I'm doing what you do.
Right?
Are you still in here?
when so during COVID is when I really started to pay attention, because I saw the effects of the government's from the government. I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, we have to apply for this and da 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 da. We go on and we apply for it. We don't get approved for it. But Joe Schmo down the street, who we had an exterior company at the time. So we were working outside on roofs, windows, siding. I figured, I was like, oh, well, we'll get it. No problem. All right. I'll just go on and apply for that. What is it? Not whatever. It was a piece of paper basically that said you could still work. So I did that. I followed the guidelines, and then I got denied. And I was like, wait, what? Why am I denied? We're outside. We were doing roofing, siding, windows outside, but we got denied. So that's when I really started to wake up to it all, like, holy corruption. My gosh. Now I know it's been going on for a long, long time. I don't know. I'm not interested in politics. I didn't pay attention. And now I'm starting to pay attention to the local politics as well. And oh my gosh, I think it might even be worse than the big stuff. It's insane. So I'm not sure where I was going with that, other than just saying, like, I'm not like 100% Trump. I'm not 100% any government. I personally think that they're all in a big club and we aren't in it type thing. I just feel like we should definitely be paying attention. I have some friends that are, well, F it. I'm not going to vote anymore. It doesn't even matter anyway. I don't think that that's the answer, because I will say, in my opinion, it seems the left is much more coordinated and they're active and they advocate for this and that and the other thing. So I feel like, being a conservative, we do need to wake up, stand up, activate, motivate, educate.
You better calm down, Faith. You're getting him a little excited.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't follow every single individual thing. I am not saying that I am the smartest or the most knowledgeable on any sort of political topic. Just when COVID came and how it affected my children and the mask wearing and how that affected my children, and the fact that we did not agree with the masks 24/7 and how that affected my children, that was when I started to go, hey man, something ain't right here. And again, it's been going on for years, I know, but I wasn't paying attention then. And I am a little bit more now. Again, I am not the professional politics, yada, yada, yada. I'm the confetti. I'm the confetti on the Mags and Faith show.
These people are crazy.
This is the kind of some of the stuff that I'm talking about, where I see these comments like this one. Trump was best friends with Epstein. No, he wasn't. He wasn't ever best friends with Epstein. Epstein's job was to go around and mingle and try to get with all these rich people and blah, blah, blah. He was ever best friends with him. So it's like, that's kind of ridiculous. And even if he approve it, like, do you have evidence? So I'm not interested in that part. I'm not going to comment on how good friends he was with Epstein, because I don't know. He's been accused of sexual blah, blah, blah. That what happened with those cases? Did anything happen with those cases? Not really. Not really. And then the one that with that lady, I forget that crazy lady's name, with the weird shed in the woods, and the one who said on TV that she thinks rape is hot or something like that, that she said it's exciting or something like that. I mean, there's too many holes in that stuff too. So, and you got the jury in New York. I mean, whatever. I don't put any weight into those. I don't care, to be quite honest with you, as far as that goes. Like, if he actually did something, of course I would care. But I also know the level of attacks that have been leveled at him over the last few years, and blah, 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 blah. Yes, Faith, that's what woke me up too. But Trump even still says he's proud of Operation Warp Speed. That's another example. He says he was proud of Operation Warp Speed. I'm pretty sure he's not saying that he's proud of the actual shots. I believe he's talking about how typically it takes 10 years to roll out a vaccine. He got the operations, the logistics, all that kind of stuff ready in, I think it was 6 months or something like that. And that's what he's referring to when he says he's proud of Warp Speed. I hope he's not proud of, that's what I think he's saying. I hope he's not proud of the actual shot. But I don't think that's what he's talking about when he says it. Who knows? He can't turn around now and be like, oh man, no one should have taken that thing. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Somebody's 31 Re-Wolf XAM said in one of the chat, complaining about being asked to wear a mask 6 years ago again. Okay. So kind of, yeah. And it's not because of anything other than you have to stand back and look back at 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I had children in kindergarten, 2nd grade, 4th grade, 6th grade, 8th grade. Those children were affected by that because I told them I did not want them to wear a mask sitting for 7 hours a day. They didn't need to. Our school did really good at keeping them 6 feet apart. They had barriers in between them. So I told them, once you sit down at your desk, you take that mask off. You don't need to breathe whatever the hell is in that mask when you're sitting in between, yada, yada. The point was, when you look back and how it went, I cannot imagine how many people, I just said this the other day, how many people that actually got the vaccine, because at the time, and I was one of them, at the time I was scared of this virus. Oh my gosh, what is this virus? But I used my own discretion. What's the word? I don't know.
Brain.
This vaccine just came out. I didn't want to inject my children with it. I didn't want to inject myself with it. it just came out and it was like, boom, it's good. It's healthy. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
Everything else the government gives us is healthy too.
Right. There was no research done on it. There was no testing done on it. It was like, hurry up and get this vaccine. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. So when it came time to my children going into school, they had an exemption and whatever. My kindergartner, and if you don't have children, it will not matter to you. But if you have children, you may understand this a little bit. My kindergartner at the time, I told her, if you want to wear the mask while you're walking in line or you're going into school, whatever, wear the mask if you want to. But once you sit down at that desk, you're 6 feet from this person, you take that mask off. Well, she came home from school one day, probably about, I don't know, a week into all this. And she said, I don't really want to wear the mask all day. It's not comfortable. I can't really breathe behind it. And I was like, right. Well, once you're sitting down at your desk, take it off. So that's where we were. She would wear it in the hallway. She would wear it on the bus next to the kids. But once she got into class, she took it off. Well, again, if you don't have kindergartners, you don't understand this. But if you have students, once it came time to circle time, my kindergartner was the only one in the school who wouldn't wear the mask, did not want to by her own choice. She was not allowed to be in circle time. So there's 20 kids sitting around in the circle. She had to sit 6 feet away over there in the back corner. When it was her time for line leader, she couldn't be the line leader because she had to stand way back there because she wouldn't wear the mask. Even though I told her at the time, just wear the mask if you want to be line leader. And now looking back, I'm thinking, good on her for standing her ground because she didn't wear the mask then. She just to be the line leader. She still didn't choose to wear the mask. But the way that they as an administration and they as a government as a whole, the way that they divided us all, who will wear the mask, who won't, who will get the vaccine, who won't. That's what I had the issue with. To me, it was up to you. If you want the vaccine, get it. If you don't want it, don't get it. But they made all of us who didn't get the vaccine, and literally you see the news stories, they made all of us who wouldn't get the vaccine bad guys. We were awful. We hated people. We hated America. We hated everything. But instead, it was just that we made our own choice. And there you go. Eric Lane, that's horrible parenting. Is it? Or is it horrible parenting that you made your child get that vaccine, wear that mask, and follow the line like everybody else?
Sounds to me like
follow
you
that
did
line.
the bad parenting there. That's for sure. We were out there fighting for our kids, and you were out there letting them be pushed over by the government. Good for you.
So
good for you.
I don't have any regrets for that situation.
I'm not gonna judge. That's the difference between us, and I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna judge you or your parenting necessarily. And but you come out here and judge ours, and it's just ridiculous. I don't really care. I don't really care.
Right.
As I said, there you go. You're incredibly judgmental while refusing to judge the person responsible for fixing the country. Yeah, a lot of nonsense.
Sherry said COVID was a test to see who would comply and who wouldn't for the next round of what they had planned. I firmly agree with that later. Down now, 5 years later. At the time, I literally did not want it because there was no testing on it. And my kids have all the other vaccines to get into school. Polio, yada, yada, yada. Because there's been research done on them. I know some people don't like any vaccines. And I get that. Now, personally, I chose not to vaccine against COVID. I don't vaccine against the flu either.
It's like getting played off.
Huh?
Nothing.
I'm sorry.
It's like getting played off of the Oscars. Like you keep getting a little bit higher pitch,
and then eventually you're gonna be,
Oh, I'm done. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just saying that at the time I was like, no, I'm not giving my kids this vaccine. What's in this vaccine? And Fauci was out there like, oh, it's great. It's going to do everything for everybody. And I was like, what, dude? This just came out. Is there any research on it? No. Okay, then I'm not giving it to my kids. And that's where it ended. Okay, I'm going to do what I can to not infect my children with God knows what that this government institution decided to put in my child's body. Do I have any regrets? No.
Care. That's the effing problem.
Oh.
Yeah, it's funny. You're right. I don't care. I don't care what the government says. I got to mask my kids. I'm not going to mask my kids. I'm not going to mask myself. I used to walk into Home Depot and Lowe's and whatever stores I had to go to whenever I was out there working through that anyway, even though I wasn't supposed to be. I'm going to do what I have to do to keep my family eating. I loved walking in there with no mask on, having people look at me all mad and stuff, looking at me like I'm a horrible person. And I would look back at them, understanding that they're a useful idiot. And that's all they are, a useful idiot. Some people were staring at me in the thing. They were just looking at me, and those aren't necessarily useful idiots. They're just people that might be scared, not as courageous as they needed to be or whatever. I don't know, but I did have a couple times where I would walk into Lowe's or Home Depot, and there would be some guy on the line. He'd be looking at me, and he would take his mask off. And man, that was just wonderful. That was wonderful that I could influence that at all. So now I don't care about the vaccine, and I don't care about all the crap that the government, I don't care about all that. I'm going to do what's right for my kids. We're going to do what's right for our kids. Our kids didn't have to wear masks not one single day in that school because we told them they didn't have to. We gave them the paperwork they needed to make that school have to come talk to me if they wanted to make my kid wear a mask, and they didn't want to talk to me. So that's where we're at. So we can blame you for the highest death toll.
Yes, it was us right
it's
here.
all my fault. Yeah, it got nothing to do with the way the government handled it, or how they sent old people to, or how they sent sick people to old people's homes, or any of that stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. It's all because we didn't wear our masks. People like you are soft, dude. They're just soft, like so weak. I look at people that like argue, like you're actually arguing for it. Like, first of all, read the dang Constitution. Oh my gosh. Second of all, I don't care what you think. You're the guy that I would love to see me. Look, you be all seething. I could tell by your eyes you're seething behind that mask, angry, wanting to strike out or say something, but you never would. Not in public, not in person, when you might have to answer back to somebody. That would never happen. On the internet chat rooms, it's totally different. You're just tough and brave and courageous, and not so much the other way around. So whatever, man. Like, I'm not, good on you. You do you, I guess. If you want to have your kids breathing through a mask and getting shots and all that kind of stuff, hey, man, whatever. Do you. Ding, ding. Yeah, they made a bunch of money selling masks and sanitizer and all that stuff.
That's what I was going to say. As much as people might be like, oh, you're still talking about something 5 years ago. Well, history matters.
Yeah.
That's why we're still talking about something 5 years ago, because history matters. And to me, it was, if you want the vaccine, get the vaccine. I didn't want the vaccine. I'm not the enemy because I didn't want the vaccine. The media led you otherwise.
Don't call it a
then
vaccine.
You followed it and believed it, which to me makes you a bit of a moron, but simply because you didn't do the research for yourself and make your own decisions. Whatever. Many people are affected differently by the way COVID, the government's response to COVID. I have family members who were very much liberal and who were very much guided by everything Fauci said. One very close family member of mine, my mother, loved everything Fauci said. And I watched her decline from 2020 to 2022 to her death. Now, was it because of the vaccine? I don't know. But did it completely change her? I'm not going to say did it. It completely changed her thought process. She immediately did not want to be around her grandchildren, did not be around her children because COVID. Instead of, hey, mom, we're all healthy. We're okay. It's okay if we come for Christmas, or if it's okay if we come for Thanksgiving, or if it's okay we come for this. But she believed everything Fauci said. So everybody had their own opinions on how COVID affected them. And, I'm a little bit bitter at the way that the government corrupted my mother's brain, but I still respected her thoughts. She wanted the vaccine. I'll take you to get the vaccine. She wanted the booster. I took her to get the booster. She wanted the second booster. Took her to get the second booster. I every time said, hey, look at the research of this. She didn't leave her house much, but she still was just so fearful of the vaccine and what the government said. And that is my main reason why I stood up, because I watched it all. And I watched it all in person, face to face, and it just was not good. Yada, yada. Sorry. Rant over.
We should have switched seats. You gotta get over here.
Right.
Spirits, you sound like you had 6 boosters. It's bad when your peeps turn on you. Yeah, I guess in our way peeps though. This is right history. Is Barb harassing people? I just caught
No,
that
I
thing.
just blocked the other person because they're using her Facebook profile for other people. Sorry, Barb, I just blocked them. That's what I'm talking about. The trolls. That's what I noticed.
Are they?
Since back then? Yeah,
Oh.
they steal her picture and then just talk shit the whole time.
That's pretty original. It's funny how people are so just silly, I guess. Whatever you want. I don't know. So tired and just bored, I guess. That they got to go out and just mess with people. You hear the Pope? the Pope made up a Bible verse, didn't he? I heard he made up a Bible verse.
The Pope did?
That's what I heard.
Oh, I thought it was what's his face?
No, well, no, you're talking about Hegseth. He didn't.
Yes.
He just did He just told him what they other people. It's I don't know, the Pope thing. Oh, then there was this one. This one was good. I was going to play this earlier. It's one of those FAFO things. So this guy's a driver for one of those. You know, he drives for food delivery.
So I've been delivering to this Trump supporter for about a month now.
You know what he's going to do.
Oh my gosh, this is why I told my kids, I'm not ordering any food.
No.
Because I don't care if I'm a Trump supporter or not. They don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't trust from A to B.
Word of advice. If you're a Trump supporter, don't publicize it.
Oh my gosh.
He has his hair in a
So
bun.
I've been
Now, hang on.
delivering to this. I just want to come on here and apologize. I just bonded out.
Yep.
Felony food tampering, misdemeanor, criminal mischief.
I bet the guys in the jail like those pigtails. Maybe that's. Hang on a second here. He just bonded out of jail. He had a bun, and now he's got pigtails. I think that tells a story all by itself.
Trump supporters for criminal mischief for spitting in that guy's Trump supporters' food. I didn't mean to get out of hand like this. I just want to apologize to everybody.
I'm sorry I lost my money. I'm sorry.
I lost my job. Now I don't know what I'm going to fucking do.
Yeah, I think it is satire.
I'm fucked.
Probably
I
shouldn't
just want
spit
to come
people's
on here
food.
and apologize.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple. That's funny. The guy said, "Holy ass, you just moved on from that so quick when you found out it was Hegseth, not the Pope." That's not what happened. It's interesting that you would think that. I was just going to bring the Pope's video up and Hegseth's video up, but I wasn't going to waste my time on it. Hegseth was talking about a prayer that the one unit says. So it wasn't like he was saying the prayer, and then I already got rid of the Pope's thing. The Pope was doing a ceremony where he quoted some of the Bible, but then he ended up going off on a political type little rant or whatever after that. So while you thought you knew what was happening, you didn't. It's amazing. It happens so often. It's amazing. Yeah, it's the truth. The walls of the Vatican were built to protect against Muslims, and the current Pope made a Muslim prayer room for them. Yep. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, right. David Axelrod, Obama's guy. Yeah, here's the Pope. I'll play the Pope's thing. I have it here. This is the Pope.
Jesus told us, "Blessed are the peacemakers."
And there he goes off on his own.
But woe to those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain, dragging that which is sacred into darkness and filth. Yes, my dear sisters and brothers.
That's what I was talking about, where the Pope is doing that. Not a big fan. Not a big fan. Yes. Where'd they go? The businesses loan to pay the employees. Some restaurants pocketed money and fired those workers. Yep. What's wrong with my picture? I don't know. It's probably got more to do
Nothing.
with
It's
me
just
than
a
your picture.
troll. It's another troll.
I know.
These people, let me tell you, for all of you new in the chat, we've been on since 2022, and we have had the same people that create different alt accounts with different people's chatters' pictures and just say the dumbest stuff. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
Well,
5.
we started going live in 2022.
Yeah,
The website
4.
was 2021. It's just insane. 4 years, 5 years of following us around. Barb, let's
All right.
you know, they love us. They think that they don't, but they do. That's why they're still around.
I'll find this Hegseth prayer. Hang on a second. So I had this on the other. I'm just gonna. Oh, I had it on US. That's where it was from. Hang on, I'll find the article on USA Today. That's better. That'll work better. Well, we'll bring this up. We'll do it. We'll take care of it. Let's air it out. Let's get
I don't
them.
think that Hegseth ever said it was from the Bible either.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like when I pray, I don't necessarily pray from a Bible verse. So again, I'm looking at that like, is this anything that I don't know. I looked at it and I was like, I don't think it's anything to be worried about.
So here's Hegseth. Pete Hegseth's prayer, Pentagon prayer, draws attention for a quote from a movie. So let's watch that first.
They call it CSAR 2517.
CSAR is a combat group. So they call it this. He's talking about a prayer that they kind of say that for themselves.
Call it CSAR 2517, which I think is meant to reflect Ezekiel 2517. So the prayer is CSAR 2517, and it reads, and pray with me, please. The path of the downed aviator is beset on all sides.
Wait, they don't have the word aviator in the Bible?
By the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who, in the name of camaraderie and duty, shepherd the lost through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to capture and destroy my brother. And you will know my call sign is Sandy 1 when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
This is what they're all upset about.
And amen.
That's what they're all freaked out about. The story reads, where's the dang story? All these ads. Oh, this is a story. Whoa, holy ads. Oh my gosh, I guess it's not on there. I just had it on there. Long story short, that's not what happened. Everybody relax. The truth always comes out. Relax. So no, he didn't seriously. Whatever. He didn't do a prayer and think it was Pulp Fiction and all this other stuff. It's just, man, they pull stuff out of everywhere. It's just funny, I think. At some point, it's like, dude, you guys got no shame.
Nope. Nope, they have none.
This guy's funny. He's kind of a troll sometimes. I'm gonna pull this up.
Any reaction to Donald Trump's comments on the Pope over the weekend?
I probably say the Pope needs to keep his business into leading his flock, so to speak, leading the church, and probably stay out of the political arena. He doesn't need to be getting involved in the political arena. Go lead your church, but stay out of the politics. Right? We didn't elect the Pope to be the president or be the anything else. So just keep his nose in the church's business and stay out of the political arena.
But what if he sees his role as sort of leading his flock away?
No, lead his flock. Well, let's focus on just behavior to and everything else. Just focus on your flock. And Donald Trump is our president. It's not the Pope. I didn't elect the Pope to be president.
Thank you, Congressman. Any reaction to Donald Trump's?
Yeah. All right. There you go. It just gets funny. Yeah. There you go. It's anything. They grab on into anything that they possibly can. Like, remember they were complaining that Hegseth was in front of all those generals doing a not press conference, but a speech or whatever, and they're making fun because the generals didn't even stand and clap. They didn't even stand and clap. They're not supposed to because they're in uniform, so they're supposed to not. Specifically, they are supposed to not do that, but they don't know that. They just use it as a narrative so they can get people all upset. It's just funny. It's just funny. I don't know. Faith.
Yep.
What you got, man?
I got nothing. Smile at a stranger.
Is it over now?
Be a good person.
Like all the time?
Simple. It's pretty simple. Yes. Be a good person.
All the time, though?
The person you walk past on the street most likely is not your enemy. Well, there are some. I've seen some crazy videos out there in the public lately that I'm like, whoop, I don't think I want to go in the public. Speaking of, we have the draft coming to our public here soon.
We have what?
The draft. The NFL draft is coming to our public. It's going to be interesting, I'm sure.
Of course, I'll be the one tagged to take the children.
I'll be the one at home with the other children.
I like when Faith takes over the show, too. So when she get on camera, so I can have something to look at. Feel a little silly sometimes over here while she's running circles around me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just get on my tirades.
Yep. Yeah, so smile at a stranger, for goodness sakes, man. I'll be back on Saturday morning because I just never learn my lesson. I'm just going to keep at it and keep at it. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Okay, we got all those. This would have to be one of my favorite comments of the day. This is beautiful. It's beautiful. Just shows the indoctrination just all the way deep into the deepest levels of the brain. So there we go. That was today's best comment. Pray for your enemies. Pray for your enemies. It does you more good than it does them. Try to be a blessing to somebody. Dang it. Just be a blessing to somebody out there. God bless you guys. We'll see you on Saturday morning, 6 a.m. sharp. Check out MagAmericans.com for info and links. And just for the fun of it, pick up the book. We'll see you next time, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. sharp Eastern Standard Time.